In this video, we are going to look at vLookup, and this is an example of how the vLookup works. So there are a set of data that when you look for the index number, it provides the rest of the data from a data set. So say you type in the index number, and the data changes. So anytime this changes, the data or the entries also changes. The pictures will also change. So anytime the index number changes, you realize that all the details also changes. Yes, so this is what we are going to use vLookup for. So I'll be taking us through how to do similar thing. The concept is very important, so please pay attention. So with regards to the functions, your concept is what makes you to use the function effectively. So we have a data set here that we are going to use the vLookup function to work with. So anytime the code or the ID, the student ID is being typed here, the name, the location, and then the mark the student had should appear. So you agree with me that this data will be matched, and there will be a need for you to simplify it by just typing the ID and then you get what you want. So this become more of a database. Yes. So the same in our previous video, learning the if function, we learned how to do the scoring and then how to get the remarks as well. So it's the same thing that we have done here. Yes. So let's dive into the vLookup. So with the vLookup, we want the name of the student to appear here anytime we enter the ID here. So we start by typing equal to vLookup, and it gives you the description, which is what it looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table, and then returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. By default, the table must be sorted in an ascending order. So it looks at a table. This is the table we are having here, excluding the heading. There's a table, and then it looks like at the leftmost column, and then where you specify, it looks for the value in that leftmost column, and then give you the corresponding values in the row. So that is what it's saying. So we start by, so it's asking us for the lookup value, the value that we'll be looking for, where we'll be looking for. So it's here, because this is where we'll type in our ID to look for. It's here. So you enter comma, and it's asking you for the table array, which include the data. So mostly, you can also name this data and then use the name. But because it's not matched, that is what I've selected. You can name the table and then use the name. Okay, so let's try to name the table and then use it. Let's try to name the table. So I'll name the table. Sorry. So I'll name the table students data. Students data. And I use the equal to sign. So I start with the vLookup. The table array is always going to be constant, so you have to hold it constant. And then you type in the name of your table, which is students data. And then it's asking you for the column index number. Column index. So this table has each column. So this column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6, and then we are looking for the name, and the name is in column 2. So we enter 2 here, comma, and we use the exact match. here, which is false. Then you close the brackets. Now you are getting this because there's no value here. So let's type in, and then you see the name is given to you. When you change these to 2, it gives you the name here. So it's the same thing that we are going to use throughout. So the next is location. So we are looking, when I type in, we want the location to appear here. So equal to vLookup. Select this again, F4, to hold it constant. The table, which we have named student, data. And then with this one, the column index is going to be 3. So 1, 2, 3. So it's the third column, comma, and then we select false, and then we close the bracket. It gives you. So Nigel, or where, and so we'll do the same thing for the marks. So doing the same thing for the marks, I want us to do something. So you realize that when there is nothing in this cell here, we keep getting this error, and this is not presentable. So this is what we'll do. We can use 2 methods, but let's focus on the first one, which is very important. You can use if error, or we can use this method as well, this function for 2. You can use the if function, or if error, or if any. You can use this, but I mostly prefer using the if. Any of this will work. We remove that error message there. So I use the if. So I say if this cell, and I'm holding F4, is equal to nothing, then give me nothing. Else, the value if false. So this time we are using the vLookup with the if function. So our previous video, the if function, I told you you can combine various functions with the if function, and this is an example of it. So we start typing the vLookup function at the value if false. So this is not a nested ifs. So if this cell is equal to 0, Excel should give me 0. Else, you should look up onto this, the lookup value, and then the table array again, student, and give me the name, which is in the column 2. And then I want the exact things, the exact match. Yes. So I need to close the bracket the number of times I've opened it. So I've opened the bracket 2 times. So I have to open 2 times. I have to close it 2 times, sorry. So when you open the bracket 2 times, you need to close it 2 times. Yes, so you see this time around, there's no value here. There's no value here. And then it's giving you an empty, a blank space because there's nothing here. So because I don't want to keep typing, so you copy this function and then you paste it in the various column, the various cells. So all you do is you change the column index to be 1, 2, 3, 3 to be 3 for location, and then for marks it's in the 4th. So we change this to 4. The grade is also in 5. So we change the column index number to 5. And then the remark will be 6. So when you type in 1001 here, you should get this. When you type in 1003 here, you should get this. But sometimes, so let's do a small addition of what we learned previously. So I'm going to create a list here. Instead of me typing, I go to data validation, and then I select list here. So because I want to make a list, I select this whole thing here. This whole thing. and I press enter. Okay. So I have a drop down here. So if in future this Salom should get, let's say, 650, you see, it changes here for him. And if you just change the name to maybe Derry, maybe he's now living in Tema, everything changes. So this is how simple vLookup is. We'll be looking at more examples later. Thank you.